And I always said that, and I've said this to people that I've talked to, who have like come to me while going through miscarriage. It's like on the days of like, and like the days around our miscarriage, it was like, I had never felt so like one with him, because like nobody else in the world can understand in this exact moment, or like he's as close, I'm as close as he that can understand, and vice versa. So like that oneness of just like being in the trenches together, but then also like grief does things to marriage, and how you handle, like you grieve differently, the anger you feel, questioning God, you know, things like that. So it like, and I think because we didn't have any family around, we did have good friends, community, and our family still supported us from afar and would come. But overall, and in the end, it definitely matured us and grew us closer together. But I'm not going to say that miscarriage is not hard on your marriage. It's very hard on marriage.
Yeah.
Multiple aspects.
For sure. Yeah.
Is there any way that like y'all were trying to deal with it yourselves, but also support the other person, or ways that you feel like I didn't do a good job supporting my spouse in this kind of way? Because I know when we talked about our story, like, you know, every month when she got that reminder, for me, it was a little easier to just be like, all right, like we got to keep going. It was hard for me, you know, to hear that and like, no, like I know like what's going on right now, and like try to like almost like take her mind off of that and like, all right, let's go do this, or let's go do that. And I probably could have like sat with her a little better in that moment.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to dealing with it in a similar way to you. I think, you know, there's ample opportunity on both sides to show grace, right? Because the grief is the loss is the same, but the grief is different, and how you deal with the grief is different. So for me, you know, I'd have a burst of tears, and then I'd want to be busy doing something to take my mind off of it. And for Jenna, I think it was a little more of, you know, it's physical for the woman. So you can't escape what's happening to your body for the days and weeks following it. And so there's not really a, you know, busy myself to get away from this pain for a little while for them. And for me, I think there were days, you know, where I did a good job of just sitting with her in that pain. And then there were days where I wasn't as gracious and as loving as I should have been. And I think, you know, that's part of the difficulty of being, you know, two people united as one flesh. You know, you're starting to see what the Bible's talking about when it talks about marriage and becoming one. Like there's some forging that happens in those difficult places that you can't get anywhere else. So
Yeah, I think I tend to be somebody who like holds it in, bottles it up, and then like explodes. And I think the miscarriage has helped me learn that, especially in marriage, is really not helpful. It's not that I'm mad that he didn't take out the trash. It's that I'm mad that I have 3 dead babies, you know, or just things like, but like him maybe not taking out the trash was the tipping point, you know, or just something. And then I think just that constant thing that you need to remember that you are a team, and like the other person is not the enemy. And like, I think I often felt like it was my fault that thought something was wrong with me, and he never once made me feel that way. And that like, and I care a lot, like I'm a people pleaser, so like if he had ever at one time made me feel that way, that literally would have crushed my soul. So I appreciated that so much about him. But also something that kind of helped me when I was struggling to like put into words how I was feeling, there was a book I read, and I highlighted or like took notes next to things that were like, I could have written, that like could have come out of my mouth, that really showed how I was feeling at different times. And when I was like really in just struggling, I like handed him the book, and I was like, I'm not able to verbally like share with you all like the nitty gritty, like look through this. And he was like, thank you so much for, and it sparked great conversation. And I almost think it was like a tipping point of us becoming better communicators and not waiting so long to like see how the other person was, if that makes sense. And like, I'm sure you guys experience it too. Like it affects sex and that it's an intimacy aspect of, I mean, I know you shared sometimes you were like, so if we have sex, like, what if she does get pregnant? Then I'm going to make her experience another miscarriage. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, the innocent, fun aspect to this wonderful thing that God designed just kind of feels like it's almost kind of flushed down the toilet. Like, well, when this happens, like, I'm a logical thinker, so I'm thinking step A leads to step B leads to step C. And, you know, 2, 3, 4 times now in the last 12, 18 months, this is where that's gone. You know, do we really, you know, it just kind of...
Because we were getting pregnant, we just weren't staying pregnant. And,
yeah. And anybody who's gone through grief of any kind, not just miscarriages, can probably relate to, you know, that aspect of your marriage is probably one of the easiest and first ones that can get really out of whack.